Step inside, the curtains drawn. The secrets of magic go on and on with Steve Valentine, your host tonight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magicians Only. I hope this finds you all well. I am doing just fine, thank you. I'm here in the sunny climate of the Great White North, aka Toronto. And I've been hanging out with David Ben, who I think is, one of the last great masters of magic that we have. He's been absolutely amazing, sharing a lot of great secrets that he's kept himself all these years that, I wish I could share with you, but I don't have permission. It's one of those things. Anyway, David's going to be reprinting some of his work. It's so great. If you don't know the work of David Ben, you need to see if you can get a copy of his book Tricks, because he's one of the few magicians I know who understands kind of what it takes to present a trick, whether it's the theatrical side of it, the lighting, the staging, the music, the patter, the presentation, the rhythm. Oh my gosh, the rhythm of it. I mean, so David, listen, I moved to Toronto for my sins, and I got to tell you that one of the best things about moving here has been David taking me into his confidence, and I, at this late stage in my life, I have learned so much from him that I am super, super grateful. So, yeah, get hold of the tapes, get hold of the books. Penguin, he did a lecture for Penguin that I think is one of the best lectures they've ever had on that site. And I did a lecture, and I think his lecture is way better than mine. So go check out the David Ben lecture too. Welcome to another episode of Magicians Only. Are you a magician? Are you? Are you really? Oh, well, good for you. Good, because me too. There's no jealousy going back and forth between us. Today, we have episode 4. Listen, we've done a lot with Matt DiSero on this podcast. He's a professional comedy close-up magician. The man grew up in comedy clubs, so he's like the Tarzan of magic in a way. You know how like Tarzan grew up in the jungle and kind of learned the way of the animals? Well, Matt didn't grow up necessarily in the magic world. He grew up in the comedy, stand-up comedy club circuit. So he grew up with stand-up comedians. And so he always approaches everything from the perspective of a stand-up comedian other than a magician. Don't get me wrong, he was surrounded by magicians too, but his home was Yuck Yucks in Toronto, and that's where he spent his formative years. So we've been talking to Matt a lot about cruise ships and how to work cruise ships, what to expect. And now we get to episode 4 of this conversation. And let me tell you, this is the goods. This is where we really get into it. We get into the magic and a lot more. But before we do...
Steve reviews magic tricks. Steve reviews magic tricks. Now, when you belong.
As you know, on Steve Reviews Magic Tricks, I review magic tricks as if they're coming out today, but they actually came out a long, long time ago. Today's review is on a magic trick called Shattering Coins and Silver Balls. Yes, you gotta love titles of magic tricks, right? So this was the invention of Eddie Joseph. It came out in the 60s, the 1960s. So we're talking over, 26? We're talking like 40, 65 years ago, maybe more. And it's based on a trick that he originally put out called the locust trick. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I did a bit of research on it, and it's a fascinating trick. And I remember buying this trick when I was a kid. Right, so wait, I've got to stay in the thing, right? Okay, so we're going to imagine that the trick just came out right now. I'm going to read you the copy, and then I'm going to tell you what I discovered when I bought the trick. Okay, because actually I did buy it. I can actually give you my honest review because I bought it from a company called Repro 71, who were selling a lot of the Harry Stanley stuff, but we'll get into that in a minute. Oh yes, I should point out that this trick was sold by Unique Magic, Harry Stanley Studios, one of my favorite ever magic dealers. I never met the guy. I just come across a lot of his material over the years and the kind of tricks that he sold back in the day. He really had an eye towards entertainment and what was strong. I understand he made a lot of money out of this. But here's the shall we read you the content? Should we read you the what it says? Eddie Joseph's Shattering Coins and Silver Balls. Oh, the one thing you should know, Harry Stanley was really good at writing ad copy, right? In order to, for the magazine, for the Gen magazine, which is one of my favorite ever magic magazines. And he was so good at writing the copy. You're going to see this. You can see how visual it was. I'll put it up on the screen as we read it. But this is a great ad. Listen to this. If you read this in a magazine, and like I did, and you were a kid, you'd want to buy this. I'm telling you, you'd want to buy this. Eddie Joseph, Shattering Coins and Silver Balls Marvel, a masterpiece of coin magic. First of all, let me just say, using the words masterpiece and marvel and shattering, amazing use of language, right? These are words that create effects in your mind that have a visceral feel to them. Let's continue. Eddie Joseph says, throughout my extended career, I have not been able to encounter another feat of natural magic to surpass the striking quality of this marvel. The plot was independently conceived by me from scratch, nurtured over the years, and finally elevated to its present level of full development. There has never been a similar effect on record in the whole annals of our profession. You can therefore be sure that what I am about to reveal is fresh, secrets which I am going to share with you for the very first time. Consequently, I can safely brand the trick as being unparalleled in plot, execution, and its awe-inspiring effect. Do I have you yet? Are you there? Are you opening your wallets? You are, aren't you? You're. I mean, right now, listen to that. I mean, out of all the tricks he's ever created, and Eddie Joseph was rather prolific. His name comes up a lot. And when I start getting into his premonition trick and my variations on that, you're gonna learn a lot more about him. Shall we continue? Okay. When you start this trick, your audience will soon realize that it's going to be something really different. But there isn't the slightest hint of the stunning climax that is to come, and when it does come, they will wonder for the rest of their lives how 10 pennies vanish from your bare hand cleanly, without a sound, and without a trace. No pulls, no magnets, no wax, no wires, no threads, nor any of the usual devices. I actually love that bit of copy because advertising copy is, it is what it is, but it makes it sound like there's a device, doesn't it? Let me reread that for you, because there is no device, but listen to the way he words it. No pulls, no magnets, no wax, no wires, no threads, nor any of the usual devices. The routine is well plotted and most interesting, and you will marvel at the combination of subtlety and ingenuity. No preparation required, always ready to work. The pennies or large coins of similar size could be borrowed if desired. Complete with everything needed for performance, plus a magnificent, unique Magi tutor written by Eddie Joseph with excellent photographic illustrations by Hugh Miller. This fantastic trick is not difficult to do, but you must be prepared to spend an evening learning it. I just want to say, an evening? We'll talk. If you are not prepared to do this, save your money. Oh my God. We still see that today, don't we? I would love to have you come to my $25,000. I'm looking for only 20 people who are good enough to move to the next level of my $25,000 course. But you've got to be smart enough. You've got to be ready. Otherwise, I'm not taking your money. Ad copy. Save your money. We are proud to offer this to the fraternity. You will be proud to show it. Now, that ad was in the 1968 edition or issue of the Gen magazine. So let's talk about shattering coins for a second, shall we? So I remember as a teenager going to Repro 71 in London. It was a lovely magic shop. Jeff Mortby was the proprietor. You had to knock on the door. You couldn't just walk in. You'd have to buzz and he would check. And then if you didn't look too suspicious, he'd let you in. And Jeff would sit you down. He'd make you a cup of tea. I mean, it was really lovely. And I remember as a teenager, I used to really love getting on the train and going into London to meet with him. And when I saw in his catalogue that he had Shattering Coins and Silver Balls, having read about the trick in an old magic magazine, a 1960s issue of the Gen magazine, I couldn't wait to buy it. And I remember he was a little reticent to sell it to me. And he said, you need to practice this. And I said, oh, yeah. I was deep into sleight of hand. I said, I'll practice it. So you can imagine when I got home and I saw the method, and it requires a lot of practice, I got the equipment. I went home. I tipped it out. It came with photo instructions, which was great. That's all I needed to learn the trick. Really extensive, really good instructions. The props were lovely. There was a bag, and in that bag were these metal ball bearings, and there were glass marbles that you called milkstone. And there was... there was a little kind of it was a key ring with a bit of plastic in it that looked like a lens, little pellets of flash paper that were inside of a tube. And that was all the props. And I remember looking at it and searching for the gimmick, the special thing that would make these 10 coins disappear. And I couldn't find it. It wasn't there. And then I read the instructions and I realized these are the gimmicks. As with a lot of really good magic, this is what makes it work. Your 10 fingers. There is a move. It really is only one major move, but it has to happen flawlessly in order to get away with the trick. The reality is you can be in a t-shirt. You can have somebody put in the coins. They can put in the balls. You put the little lens on top of your fist, a little bit of flash paper. There's a flash of fire, and everything is still there except for the 10 coins. Later on, I actually started to use washers instead of coins, big steel washers, and it's very effective. So can you do this trick surrounded? Yeah, pretty much, I would say. If you're careful with your angles, you can do it surrounded. The closer people are, actually, the better it is for you. It's not really, I wouldn't do this on stage. I would do this really, really close up. I would do it at the tables and walk around all the time. I would give this quite a stunning effect. There are other ways. There are other ways of making 10 coins vanish, including the Amar coin clip, which is great. But there's something about the isolation of the left hand as you do this that is so very powerful. And I think if you think about it and you work on the routining, you can have your wrist held as well if you do it at just the right moment. So, what do I think about this trick, shattering coins and silver balls? Well, let me actually reiterate the words of the late, great Arthur Emerson, who was a magician and magic dealer, and the man who came up with the Pegasus page plot, as well as all those wonderful packet tricks, Emerson and West packet tricks from way back in the 80s. I found this online. Somebody had printed a letter that they'd received from Arthur Emerson regarding the shattering coin tricks. This is it. This is really interesting. Shattering coins. It was at one of these late night magic sessions that I learned my favorite coin trick. Many years ago, Eddie Joseph had marketed the Magic Locust. 10 English pennies and 10 small ball bearings in the magician's left fist are exposed to a tiny bar magnet, the locust, encased in an Indian cloth weaving. Spectator removes the locust and is asked what remains in your fist. Pennies and silver balls was the answer. But when your fist is opened, the pennies have vanished. Harry Stanley made a lot of money with this effect after he took it to a Corinda Sunday. The effect, sold by Unique, was called shattering coins and silver balls with no need for the locust or the magnet. I bought the revised locust trick to a later Saturday, showed it to Joseph, and he thought it was a fine variation. The marvellous part of this story for me was that on the following Saturday, Eddie Joseph bought me a gift, the original props, instructions, and photographs of his performance of the locust. It's one of my prized possessions. Arthur Emerson. And it's not just Arthur Emerson. Michael Vincent, a lovely British magician, has also published work on this trick. So, shattering coins and silver balls, or I should call it the shattering coins and silver balls marvel. I give it a 9 out of 10. It is worth the effort. And I'm sorry for everyone who's looking for self-working magic. There's no such thing as self-working magic. But what is wrong with putting in a little extra work so that you can do and you can have something in your repertoire no one else is doing? This is an original effect. It's something that people remember. It's quite powerful. I use large washers. I've used dollar-sized coins on this, and I think it's a tremendous effect. So 9 out of 10 for me. That's my review. If you can find it anywhere. Oh, wait, there are 2 places in which you can find this. You might come across it occasionally. It pops up on the magic websites, on the antique magic websites. But you can also find this trick on one of Michael Vincent's DVD collections, and of course, on Magic on the Go. You didn't see that coming, did you? No, actually it is. It's I filmed this a while back, actually while I was moving house. Chris Philpott, my friend, the great Chris Philpott, he popped over, and I used him in the filming, because you need someone to put the stuff on your hand to create the isolation, and it was a lovely film. But it was filmed during my transition, because I truly believe no matter where I am in the world, I will continue to create content for Magic on the Go. So we recorded my handling, which is basically the Eddie Joseph handling plus a few tips and tricks in order to get away with it and make it more effective. I recorded that a while back. It is part of Magic on the Go at magiconthego.com. You can just look up the Coin Magic playlist. There's about 13 or 14 different unusual effects on there, and you will find the Shattering Coins is one of them. I think you can also buy it for streaming. I think it's still available for that. But that's the Shattering Coins and Silver Balls.
Steve reviews magic tricks. Steve reviews magic tricks. Now, when you belong.
And now it's time to return to the studio and the multicolored brick wall set as we close out our conversation with Matt DiSero on the glorious job of working on cruise ships.
Magicians only. The podcast where real magicians go.
We've talked about how to travel. We've talked about the average fee from a cruise ship ranges between $2,500 and $3,500.
I would, up to 5.
Disney pays more.
Up to 5,000.
Yeah.
It depends. Many famous magicians you think don't work ships do. Same with comedians.
Yeah.
Living conditions. Yeah, I think we covered.
Living conditions, politics, extra charges that are going to come out of your bottom line.
Yeah, it's the mathematics of it, I think, but you have to figure out what you're paid tax, all those extra fees, and then you say to yourself, man, I got whatever. Say you have 2 kids and a wife or whatever. You're like, man, do I want to be away for 9 days for $1,500? No.
Yeah.
I might as well be a welder. Might as well be a welder with pension and benefits if I'm going to do.
Right? Yeah, once you start amortizing that money across the time.
And the other point is, how many weeks do you want to do a year?
Yeah.
So I used to do 25 to 30 weeks a year, and I did that for 18 years.
Right.
And
it's
wild, right? Yeah. But now I have a kid, and I'm like, if I do 25 weeks a year, by the time the kid's 10, I'll have seen him only 5 years.
How many of the cruises that you've done have they said you're okay to bring your family member?
Well, I worked, I was like at one cruise line for like 9 years. I could bring anybody.
Right.
But most of them, I think once you work for them for about 5 or 6 months, they'll let you bring on your wife, your kids.
Because when I did the Disney, part of the stipulation was I could bring the family.
Yeah.
And they had a great time, but I was so anxious about doing the show because I hadn't done one in a long time that and they waited till the last night to put my show on. Actually, no, I did 2 shows. And I did one on the day everyone arrived, right? So it was only half an audience because people hadn't finished getting on the ship yet. That was one thing. And then they scheduled my last show opposite the fireworks. So I think I had like 6 people. No, it was a bit more than that.
I've said this in the past. You care too much about the work.
Yeah.
So you put too much effort into it, man. Like I could see you being an anxiety-driven mess all week waiting for your shows. Yeah. Whereas you just got to be like, man, I've done this 10 zillion times. You're hired because you know what you're doing. And the proof of my comment is, look, when that thing fucked up with the Rose, killed.
It just stepped up and made it work. Care? Yeah, you're right. I should care less. So what we're really saying is
apathy is your
friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Apathy
don't
is
care.
Your friend.
You don't practice, rehearse.
Just go out and see what happens.
You know that Magic on the Go button that says unsubscribe? You can hit that.
Shut up! Don't listen.
No. You don't need to.
No, but you don't need to practice. You don't need to practice because Di Vernon was an expert. But did you ever see his act? Woo! I'm telling you, like the reverse. Just
Houdini
kidding.
couldn't do any magic.
Die. Yeah. So, all right, but just to finish, so now.
The act itself.
We could talk a little bit just about like structuring that act, and then how to look at your performance, because we've got what you've learned right now is the real meat of that.
Could be part of that. How you dress.
How you dress. All right. Well, let's start with that. How do you dress?
Well, I always wear Buckaroo Banzai suit and bow tie.
I thought I was the only one.
Yeah. Well, it's
How many people out there
underground
know
film.
who Buckaroo Banzai? All right. Okay.
Nobody knows Buckaroo Banzai. Although I just heard Tarantino talking about how much he loved it. So there you have it.
And Peter
Weller
played it. Yeah.
He's fantastic. Also great in Naked Lunch. At any rate, he's good in everything.
Yes, he is.
RoboCop, my God. At any rate, I think so. I'm seeing magicians now. They like the young urban comics, right? The jeans, leather jacket, and I've noticed that they went quite popular for a while. And I was like, man, I'm seeing all these acts. I go
For the stand-up, or for the comedians, or just
comedians and the magicians.
Okay, yeah.
And like there was one stand-up I know who's 65, almost 70. He's a killer stand-up, but he shows up. He's dyed his hair. He's got some green and pink in his hair, and he's got a leather bike jacket on. And
Okay.
I'm like, you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
So dress for the audience. If it's an old cruise, man,
They will have it.
I think
they
you're
will
always
have that
good.
night. They will have that formal night, which happens a lot. You should be prepared for
like
it.
you can wear anything, but it's about connecting with the audience, right? Like when I'm working Holland, they're old, and men they dig that bow tie. Well, I told you I do those Jero diamond penny lines, and they know the music references. So you want to, but I just think it's really unprofessional going on in jeans. And I know there's lots of guys that do it, and
It's
Matt Johnson, super sexy looking guy, and he pulls it up,
He's got the muscles and the tats to pull it
I got
off.
the arms of a heroin addict. I need to cover my fat, my thinning, graying hair. It's horrible. I'm a hideous chud. Point is, I just think you should look better than the street.
I think so too. I think that I
And
understand there is
magic
this
a
thing.
little bit too, right?
Yeah, I understand there is this thing about the modern day performer being super casual, thereby connecting with the crowd on that level. And maybe if you were doing a younger ship, I wouldn't recommend going on stage in a tuxedo like a carnival. I don't think the young kids are going to
Tuxedos should be stricken from magic entirely.
Period. Yes, I know I need to get rid of mine.
But the younger ones, I still wear this bow tie. When I was with Yuck Yucks, they hired, they regularly had a biker room. It was a biker clubhouse.
Yeah.
I did it in a suit and bow tie.
Okay.
Because I was like, man, I'm going to get fired. This is why they're putting me in here. They want an excuse to fire me.
Right.
Like, I'm going to go in. I killed. Like, if they like you, like, this is why likability is everything.
Yes. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think you should look, the same way, like, your silk should be pressed and all that stuff. So should your, don't be wearing, like, I am.
I remember there used to be a guy at the Magic Castle in the 90s who was kind of a bit, he was very smarmy, not a bit, he was very smarmy, but I remember his tuxedo was so shiny, and not for the right reasons. He'd ironed it, and you could actually see.
Well, Tom Ogden doesn't come through anymore.
No, he doesn't wear them. No.
Edit that out. Sorry,
It wasn't Tom. And yeah, we just let this fucking thing play, and it is what it is.
This is the bonus.
I hope you're taking notes. But you could see the shape of the iron on his suit. It's like, and I think if you can wear what you want, but at least make it quality, because.
That's true.
Going on stage in $300 jeans, you can tell the difference between that and ripped, crappy clothes.
A friend of ours told me that about
shoes.
T-shirts. He's like, I buy $300 T-shirts. Yeah. I'm like, really? Because you can tell. And now I'm starting to buy into it. That it's probably true.
Yeah, it's a good idea. A nice, if you're going to wear a leather jacket, look sharp, look classy. Have like the belt that you wear, make sure that the buckle is polished, so it looks smooth.
No cracks,
nice watch.
Lines.
Yeah. Shoes. Your shoes are like in their face, because if you're up on a platform, and so if your shoes are beat up and they've got crap on the bottom.
Time. I was terrible about shoes for the longest, because I thought nobody watches. And you know what? Jeff Evans, hat tip to him. He's like, man, people see your shoes. He gave me a bit of shit about it, and he was right. And now I have really nice shoes.
It makes all the difference. People will judge you based on how you look.
And you only get 30 seconds.
They're not judging your personality. They're judging your success. So if you look like a bum and you're beat up clothes and shoes, and they even unconsciously will say, this guy doesn't make a lot of money, he's not successful. There's a psychology to that.
Why do I got to listen to what he's got to say?
Yeah.
And then I saw a guy once, he took his shirt off. Took his jacket off. I'm making noise on this, I'm sure.
That's right.
Takes his jacket off, and he's got like the yellowed armpits on the white shirt.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, dude, you know what's a shirt going to cost you?
Yeah.
You know, but you can tell he was a road hog, and he's like, nah, man, I'm just gonna beat this shirt until it disintegrates.
Yeah.
And the thinking, I've heard comics say this. They go, well, you know, your jacket's gonna be, you really only see this much of the shirt.
Yeah, that's the only part you need to press.
I'm like, oh.
There's Al Murray, who's a British comedian. He's this character called the pub landlord, and he has, I think it's a brown shirt or brown jacket that he's famous for, and so he's only got 6 of them, and he rotates them, and they're just literally. He was saying in an interview recently they're being held together by threads, but that's part of his character. I used to do a bit where you take I used to be dressed in a gorgeous tuxedo and a Royal Viking, and then when I would do the straight jacket, I would take my jacket off, and this sleeve was missing, and this sleeve was shredded. I mean, talk about a joke on a joke. And then when I turned around to put the jacket down, I had a big iron mark right in the center of, and it got a big laugh.
That's
you know,
sure, if it's intentional, but you know, if you're going out in ripped jeans, actually, let's say you had the $300 jeans, but they're the ones with like the ripped knees and stuff.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know. If you've got a bit of business with
like,
that,
is your top does it need to be in the knee?
Yeah, you're just
like,
kind of
how are
like
you, what
loading.
is the misdirection?
I'd load my silks from there.
Yeah.
So all right, so that's clothing and again and hair and breath. I think is super important.
I smoke, but I'm always spraying. You know.
You don't want that waft as you walk on stage. And I remember doing a show years ago, and I'm not sure if I've talked about this on Magic on the Go or not, but I was in my early 20s, and I just arrived at the Magic Castle, and I was doing a gig, and Mark Wilson, who I've been friends with for years, Mark appeared in the back of the crowd, and he was watching me do my thing. And I was very excited about it. You know, I was like, oh God, that's Mark Wilson. I hope I get to meet him afterwards. This is, you know. And he came up to me afterwards, and I was expecting a comment about the magic, because the magic was close up. The magic had gone well. And I'll never forget, he leaned in and he said, "You need a mint."
Oh!
And
boom!
And then he walked off. And
wow,
I never forgot that. I mean, that was, it was now, brutal, but what a pro. And you know, never mind the magic. Like, these people are doing this because you've got like bad breath. Holy crap! And for stage 2, that, you know, your breath travels. So
that's a good note.
Yeah, that was a great note.
I never got anything like that at the castle.
No, this wasn't even at the castle. This was a gig. It was like in a hotel somewhere, and he happened to be there.
Everybody who comes to the castle, they just stare at you. Who's the young Turk?
Who's the young Turk?
That's like, why you guys all? How come Max Maven and all you guys? Why you guys all gonna come sit front row on my first show?
When they're like this.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to make sure you're good enough to be here. I'm like, isn't that Jack's job? Anyways.
Yeah. So look good.
Cut that out.
Look clean.
Look good. Look clean.
Good. Look clean. Nice. Smell good.
Have a good act.
And then there's the act, right? So, which we've talked about so much that has had nothing to do with the act, but now finally.
But that's what gets you booked.
Yeah,
it's actually the act is not.
It's not that important, is it?
Well,
well, it is, but yeah. So assuming that you're going to figure out whether you should really rehearse, and hopefully we'll do a video at some point with a mic and a mic stand, so we can teach some. I can learn some mic stand technique from you. Because I do think
cool work on that.
He does. He's got some moves that are like hardcore.
I can make the mic stand move anywhere I want with my leg.
Yeah. So we can lean in to him. Cool. Now, do you always ask for a mic stand?
Round base. I can't have that tripod base. I don't even care if you. For everybody, the tripod base, it's the devil.
Yeah.
You should not have it.
Your feet will always trip it up.
It's terrible. It gets caught in the cable. No, it's no.
Right.
It's terrible.
All right.
Yeah. Round base only.
Okay, that's good. Although I have a great move with a spinning. I did it in the ultimate hat trick. I showed it where you spin the table and the tripod legs spin. And it looks really cool. It was a mic stand move that when I was doing I'm in the Band. Chuck Wright from Quiet Riot, who was a friend of mine, and I was like, "Can you tell me some rock and roll stories or give me some moves when I'm pretending to be a rock star?" Cool. And he was like, "Yeah, I do this thing with the mic stand where you lift it up vertically and you spin it and the legs spin and it looks really cool."
Does.
It does. So I do that with the table now.
Yeah,
and then you can put it down.
Now I got to pull up the thing and watch it.
Yeah, it's great. So that's the only reason to have those legs. But yes, so the weighted circular one, we'll get into that that's a whole nother tape. Trust me.
Sure it is.
But okay, so how do you approach starting a show?
Like my opener?
I don't necessarily have to give us your material, but I mean, like, Because so some people will say you gotta have a quick, sharp trick in order to open, or it's got to be a personality thing.
I used to be that guy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the note I got my first time at the castle, man, nothing magical happens in your act for about 7 minutes. And I'm like, yes, I know, it's by design.
Right.
I know everybody, magicians, like you gotta do something flashy and establish that you're a magician, but I actually want to establish that I'm likable and that I'm a person and this is who I am.
Right.
So, I've got all those jokes about being a Copperfield fan and a Copper kid and all this stuff, but within it, I'm like, I always wanted to be like David Copperfield. Then I found out I could not be like David Copperfield because I'm not sexy like David Copperfield. And I always get to laugh from a bunch of women. And I go, I know I'm a hideous chud, man. I'm like, you want to be I check the boxes of being self-deprecating, likable. Like, I'm there. I'm in the theater. The ship has hired me. They know I have to be at least passable.
It's because you think some people believe that magicians are always trying to be cocky and think they're smarter than everyone. So when you go on stage and you show that you're just like a nice person and a little bit self-deprecating, you don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, and within my opener, there's a screw up. I'm like, what do you think I am? Gandalf? Did you expect? What,
nice.
Like you have to. So I am not. I'll get to it.
You know what, David Nixon? I noticed something. The old-time British magician David Nixon. I was looking at some of his old TV shows on YouTube, and I realized that every episode usually starts with a gag trick. Like he would hold up a giant spoon and do an impression of Uri Geller, and it was obviously just a fake spoon that bent, or something that was a joke that kind of was like, I'm not taking myself too seriously.
I don't even think. I mean, I happen to be funny because I'm labeled comedy magician, but you have to establish who you are.
But you're also like Tarzan. You grew up in.
You
grew up in
a
comedy club, so that was your world. So you had it was a gift of being surrounded by comics and seeing how they work and approach material, which most magicians don't have.
Magicians should. I always say this. Comics too. It's amazing. You go to those amateur nights and then there's always the headliner at the end, right? Or even the new comics. They don't watch the headliner. You guys are insane. You're all insane. First of all, if you want to learn how to perform, you go hang out at a comedy club, watch as many shows. You'll see 4 different styles. Yeah. Which maybe you can nip bits of.
Dude, I just watched Ron White the other night. His Netflix comedy special. I never laugh on these comedy specials. I always find most people's material to be kind of weak and.
Well, it doesn't transfer to film. Nothing does.
Yeah, but holy crap, Ron White! I was laughing my ass off.
But like, I think we were talking. I forget when it was, and we were just talking about like stagecraft. I'm like, watch Rock. You want to know how to play a big theater when you get to because I went to ships specifically to learn how to work theaters. What do they call it?
The Panther? Like he's
back and forth, but he's he on the setup he is always talking, and then boom on that punchline he stops every time. Yeah, and watch most good comics do that. I know it's very old school style.
Never move on a punchline. That's in sitcom as well. That's in TV film. Yeah, you never walk on a punchline.
It's always
you'll dilute it.
So when you open I open like that.
So So this is really interesting, right? And I think there's something to be said for that. In an audience nowadays, I feel they want more authenticity anyway. So in the old days, we used to open pow, pow, pow because like in cabaret and working men's clubs in Vegas, you had really blasé audiences who you had to prove yourself to in the first 30 seconds. And so you needed to come out and open with something. But now it's like, so what? Now it's like, okay, you've done a trick. Who are you? And
well,
especially if you're doing 45 minutes.
Remember you saw me in that crappy theater, that horrible hot sweatshop comedy room?
Yes, at the back of the cafe?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had to follow that woman talking about...
It's awful. She
was talking about like women's menstrual things.
Vagina menstrual jokes.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, I know I have to establish who I am and stuff. So I always try to tag the person ahead of me anyways, and then bring them all the way down on to nothing and then bring them up on my energy.
Right.
But sometimes you have to just be like, boom, boom, just a little bit in those, but in a theater on a ship, I don't know if it's his line. I don't know if it's David Ben's line or if it's like a theater expression. Maybe it is. But David's like, in a theater, you could, what is it? You can put your head in a bucket of water and recite Macbeth, and the audience will stay with you to see where it ends.
Right.
So, something like that. I'm misquoting terribly. But anyways, the point is, it's true. In a theater, they're like, we're here, we're invested.
Right.
In a comedy club, not so much. It's more like a war room. So
you have to kind of like... get them early.
But I don't think in the theater, I think you can take more time in the theater. Like, not tons. I wouldn't say don't waste 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And don't be meandering, be intentional about it. But take the time to tell them who you are and what you're like.
Okay.
And then everything else, for me anyways, everything else follows from that. Like, when I do the wrist tie or the knife through code, it's all like they kind of know what I am. I'm like, I don't take myself too seriously.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And that things could mess up.
They often
potentially,
do.
which makes knife through jacket more fun because now you've got that potential.
And then if they like you, like, so do you know about the pineapples on cruise ships?
No.
So
I think so. Yeah. Okay. This is great. This is great, you guys.
So if you put a pineapple on your door, you're a swinger. Hey, we don't kink shame here. That's my new running gag, by the way, in my act. We don't kink shame.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the guy I'm doing Ross Bertram's wrist tie, and I get the guy to pull on the rope, and I'm like, you like that, just like you did last Friday. And then he made some crack, and I go, hey, maybe you got to put a pineapple on the door. And more people than I thought laughed. It was just an off the cuff. And then I'm like, oh. Wow, you guys know, like I was surprised. They could see I was in the moment and I'm like, wow, holy smokes, you guys know what the pineapple is?
Yeah.
And there's one guy who's like sitting like this in the front. You could tell he's trying to figure, what are you talking about with this pineapple thing? And I go, buddy, over there, he doesn't look like he knows anything. Listen, sir, just go up to the buffet, grab a pineapple, put it on your door, and explain to your wife why at 2 a.m. you got a lineup of people there. You'll have fun. It'll be great. And it gets a big laugh, but it got a big laugh, fortunately. But it was like, they laughed because they knew who I am,
right?
And that I don't take things too seriously. Right. Whereas if you were trying to be like Mr. Magic and then you do that, maybe it doesn't work. I think you're like that on stage. You're very.
I like people to know I'm a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
But I'm also very kind of like self-aware. Like, is that too far? Did I go too far? And just. I'll let them
flexible
know.
mirror thing. Anybody else? Say somebody ripped off. I don't know if you've even shown it on.
I don't think I put a performance of it. I have talked about it.
It's the best. It's the best routine there is for that.
Oh, thank you.
It's hilarious.
Bendy mirror. We talk about it on Magic on the Go. I was talking about putting it in a paper bag and some other ideas with it.
But in
the early days,
any other magician could steal that bit, and they might come across as being like a douche because they want to stab that actor, right?
Right. But you have a great audition. Enjoy yourself. Yeah.
It should have been me and Sherlock. Point is, I think it's better to be that
establishing your personality, and
then you can be free to do whatever material.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think people genuinely, people have to like you. There was a magician I saw. I can't remember his name. He does a lot of cruise ships, but he opened his act with the linking finger rings. Now, what? I know. I was like, wait a minute. What?
Was his name El Ducho, the magician?
El Douchebag, the magician. No. So at first he's like, I need to borrow 3 rings. And I literally turned to the person I was with and I was like, he's going to do linking finger rings at the beginning of his show?
That's a wild opener. That's a ballsy opener.
It killed.
No.
And he brought the guys up on stage. He brought the 3 guys up on stage. So afterwards I was talking to him and I was like, what's your thinking behind that? Because I think I know what he's thinking. I wanted to get it from him. And he said, I want to establish that it's not about me. He said, so I come out, a couple of quick jokes immediately into the audience, and now everyone's like, what's he doing? And now I'm pulling 3 of them up onto the stage, and so now
is really smart.
and so now I've got people there, and I'm going down the list, and I'm getting to know people. They're seeing my personality because of the back and forth, and the trick is really strong.
I always say I don't like being alone on stage because I'm always alone. I just want people to come up.
I have a bit of a show about being insecure. Insecure magicians always get people up on stage as quickly as possible. But it's.
I think while I was on, you yelled that from backstage. Could you get more people up, Matt? It was something like
Did I do that? Yeah,
okay. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was
well,
hilarious.
yeah, you were just getting a ton of peeps up. But it's.
Well, I got 5 for psychometry alone.
Yeah, I know. It's
a lot.
You work very well off people. For 5-card finger bang, which I named because I just like people saying to me like, I have a question about 5-card finger bang, like, because I'm a child.
That's good.
But that requires at least 5 or 6 people on stage. And chairs are really good, not just because people might fall over, but in order to control.
Yeah, I had to change the blocking of the piece a little bit, but boy, it makes a difference. And I do think, honestly, because a ship can, as you know, it can move at any time.
Yeah.
I was an idiot to not have chairs before.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, this is so much better.
Yeah.
And then they can't go anywhere. And they don't talk back to me as much either. I don't get as much lip from them.
There's an authority
to. I'm standing, they're sitting.
Exactly. If you look at a lot of the vaudeville guys, especially like Nate Leipzig or Billy O'Connor, when they used to do card acts on stage, and they would get people up on stage. I actually found a photo of Billy O'Connor, and he had a square table that was off to the side, and it had two chairs, so it was kind of like a card table, and the spectators were seated there, and then he was in the middle doing a bit, but he would bring one of them over, or he would move the chair. I think it would move the table over, but it does give you more control. I was watching a Ricky Dunn video, because I've been reading his pickpocket book, which is talk about magic, a lot of which you can't do anymore. Like,
It's
there's
a lost
so
art.
much.
Without, you can't touch people now.
You can't touch people, and there's certain things you can do. I think if you call yourself an honest pickpocket, if you set it up the right way, and you're only using dudes. But there's also like very little you can steal nowadays because everything is in the phone. And
It's true. It killed. The iPhone killed many things, including the art of pickpocketing. But you could maybe get. I don't know.
Maybe a wallet, but on a cruise ship, it's even hard to get a jacket.
I just think
right?
having people touch you, like I do the homing card.
Yeah.
And I used to just ask them to go into my pocket and take out the card. And then it was a magician. I'll tell you who it was later.
Yeah.
But they were like, man, that's like sexual assault now. You've been working too long. And I'm like, yeah. So now what I do is I go, your card's going to go from the back up the sleeve. I got all those lines about my concave chest and all that stuff, right? And then I go, you have a choice. It could be the outside jacket pocket or the pants pocket. Your choice. But you will be getting the card out.
Yes. So you put it on the person.
I put it on the person's, yeah. And then if they want to go to my pocket, bang, I got all the lines.
Yes.
If they want to go to my pocket, I got lines for that too.
Okay, that's good.
So-
and I think there's a lot to be said for that, and being very aware of it. But I was watching the Ricky Dunn video, and he had 6 or 7 guys on stage. He was pickpocketing, but they were moving around, and he would turn around, and one of the guys turned to the other guy and was like, "He took your tie," and the guy was like, "Oh," and so that moment happened. Now Ricky was great because he saw that and was like, "Move over there." And the other thing that Ricky did that was great was if he gets a group of people up on stage, I know we're off kilt a little bit, but if you get a bunch of people on stage and one of them looks like it's going to be trouble, a little bit of trouble, he always would give them a handkerchief to hold. And when you stand up here, you got the most important part of the show. Stand up here, hold the handkerchief. Yes, you can examine the handkerchief, but hold it up, okay? Just hold it up for me. And then he'd have another guy in the back doing a little dance. So he had this kind of bit going like, hold up the handkerchief, do a little dance, and it would be.
Right.
But
Sure, it keeps them from...
Yeah, and then he would do Bill and Lemon, and at the end of it, he would grab the handkerchief and use it to wipe his fingers and say, there's something, and that was the bit.
Smart.
Very smart. But yeah, so opening, like for you, and I kind of agree with that nowadays, is that you need to establish yourself as a person, not as a magician. Yeah.
Plus, I mean, it's the old thing: are they hiring a magician or are they hiring Steve Valentine?
Right.
So
yeah,
might as well be Steve Valentine.
And it does say on the poster, "Showtime with boom." So that's important.
For about a month on Holland America, I was Nick DeFott. They never changed the poster. He was on 2 weeks and I was on.
So they were
back and forth.
Damn, Photoshop's
I'm like, why don't you?
amazing.
Yeah, why don't you change this? I can't be Nick. He's younger than me. Bothered me. Anyways,
I'm Nick DeFott's dad. That's what I would be. Nick the dad.
Closer is key though on ships. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. All right. So the middle of the stuff. So the middle of the act is routines, audience participation, whatever. Yeah.
But that closer, it better be strong, because that old stand-up comedians line. They don't stand for stand-up. You don't get stand-up comics don't get standing ovations. It also applies to variety, unless you're like an illusionist with music and stuff, right? Yeah. Or you're producing flags and going, when I did this trick before for the kid in the hospital who's dying, I promised them I'd get a stand. If I see you do that, I will punch you in the nuts.
Oh yeah, asking for a standing ovation.
Oh, it's horrible.
And then also this whole thing of like, how many magicians have never seen snow? Oh, we already talked about that. How many magicians have never seen snow?
The point is, though, but they care about that. If you can pull, there are ways to goose a standing O, I've learned.
Yeah, of course there's techniques. Just not asking for it.
Yeah. There's ways to goose. I do it all the time. But the ship, man, that is on the, like standing O, if on your review, which is the thing that gets you hired the most, standing O or encore. Matter of fact, the cruise director last week, was that last week already? Wow. She's like, man, you got an encore. I never see magicians get encores. And in that moment I went, man, that review is going to be kicking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was.
And you had something prepared, obviously, because you were ready to go.
Always. I didn't say it was solid material, but I had something.
But there's something.
There's something. But the whole thing is like, if you, I believe even, the opener and the closer should be strong. Yeah. I think you really it's the closer. If you kill, that's what they remember, and that's what they'll write down.
So
and stuff like
what kind of material do you consider to be a closing? Do you want to be on stage on your own? I mean, your last thing's the psychometry, isn't it?
Yes, but David Ben gave me the blocking from
Yeah.
Genius, you know, if I please return to your seat now. And as they're, so I have the 5 of them, chairs or standing. You know, if I give you the color of your underwear, please return to your seats now. And as they stand up, David is correct. A couple steps away, you take a step down stage. That's all it is.
Right.
And then the applause goes up, and it oftentimes will goose the standing on.
Amazing.
But I hammer through that routine on lines. Bang, 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 bang.
It's a lot of rhythm. It's unusual because you're ending on a routine that's got audience members on stage.
I know, which is like against all the rules, but I'm a rule breaker in this regard.
Who was I listening to? I was listening to an act. Was it? And at the end of their show, they just gave this speech about, I just want to say, this is a very 70s, 80s thing.
For the troops?
It's kind of like that. It's like, one an honor it has been performing for you guys, and from my heart, I wish you nothing but the best, and God bless one and all. And it was Glenn Hayward, who was like an old pro. There's a great video of him doing egg bag online at a luncheon, and it's the best. He does was a great performer, but he's doing this spot. Magic Palace. Okay, I'll come to
Oh, Dale Harney's show.
Harney's show. And Glenn's on there, and he does a couple of good spots. And you can tell he's an old pro, and he does a lot of one-liners before he starts the magic. And at the end of it, he does some kind of very schmaltzy, you know, I wish you nothing but the best. God bless everyone. It was
in a way, I wonder
if that would work now.
It does. I know a comic who just does stand-up, and he kills, but he knows they don't stand for stand-up. But he happens to be able to sing, and he sings this song at the end.
Yeah.
And because it's music, up they go.
And there's a reason why a lot of acts back in the early 1900s would close with hand shadows. You know, Edward Victor, Louis Nicola, because
it's a standing O piece.
It's a standing O piece. It's music. It's emotional, right? You're making them feel something. So,
Mr. Saturday Night, you know, with the daughter where he sings the song.
Yeah.
And then the new agent Helen Hunt comes in, and she's like, "Oh, that's your daughter from. What happened when she got too old to be in the act?" He goes, "Oh, I just hired a new girl." Because you can't give up the bit.
You can't give up the bit.
No.
But that's something to think about. Is like how do you close? What would be it? What would be like? I personally love David Benn's Tournament Store's cigarette paper with the confetti.
Does he close on
finale.
that now? No.
I think you could.
It's a closing piece in a theater.
He was telling me that because he has a handling for the butterflies that's just wonderful. For the
Ross Bertram's butterflies?
Well, the Chinese butterfly trick. I don't know if it's Ross's, but
Ross has a.
You take a cigarette paper, you twist it, and it starts floating.
That's in the brown book.
Is it? Okay.
Or maybe the green book. I don't know. There's only 2.
Dave's got a great handling on how to get the confetti. So the idea is that you
anything can be a closer.
Yeah, but what I love about David's routine with the cigarette paper, and I believe it's in Tricks, is that you have a kid on stage with you, and you've got them doing it with you, and it's very sweet. And you make them the star by they actually end up restoring their paper, and then you take it again, rip it up, and then you get a confetti. It doesn't have to be like a giant Kevin James confetti.
I always say, what's David's genius? Making small things play big, and he understands, more importantly, he understands lighting.
Yes.
And man, that piece is lit. You're right, that is a close. If you lit it the same way as he did and all that stuff, and that's something on ships, if you wanted.
Alan Shaxson used to close with the hydrostatic glass. And it was the way it was lit, but also it was very fast. It was, ladies and gentlemen, that's science, that's magic, and that's all. And then that was it.
Good night.
Yeah.
I had my that's another thing. Don't leave your props in your cabin if they look like something. I had my hydrostatic glass cleared by the groom guy.
Oh, did you?
Where'd it go?
It happened to me at a gig once. Yeah,
I don't do it anymore.
I was doing a glass production from a hat, and I had two glasses full of water with rubber covers on. They were taken by the staff. What they must have thought those rubber covers on those glasses were, I don't know, but they took it anyway.
They'll take
Yeah. So really important then is you got your filler, but ease into your opener, introduce who you are, but make sure that finale is designed with little music, whatever it takes to kind of build the ending.
I never think about music because it's not in my wheelhouse, but I just think, it's got to be something. It better be a strong piece of magic. Yeah. So that could be anything, I guess. And I think if it's funny, and then there's a little dramatic moment, like David gave me with the blocking, there's your ending. But man, if you get that, you'll work on ships forever.
Yeah.
And really anywhere, really. You want to close strong. You don't want to close weak.
I don't know. I like to close weak and leave them wanting less.
I got actually another 500-600 tricks, and then I got to go.
No, that's my act. All right. Well, listen. Anything else you want to add on to this for now? I think this is a lot of great
I think
information.
We're good. Any questions? Email you.
Yeah, email me, and then it will go right to junk.
Yeah.
But thank you, Matt, for being here. And if you guys get a chance, by the way, Matt has a book out called
The Fog Machine of War, and
it's great.
It's a piece of shit. But
no, it's great.
All the proceeds go to a Bolivian magic school. I don't make a dime on it, but it's available.
Wasn't that your drug dealer's nickname? Was the Bolivian magic school?
The 8 Ball.
The 8 Ball.
My salt pork gimmick is filled with something.
Listen, if you can get it on Amazon, and it's full of stories from the road, and
bits of advice.
Great bits of advice. There's a whole article on why stand-ups hate magicians, which I think everyone should read. We might actually do a bit on it. I might do it on
that'd be fun.
But I feel
justified.
Justified and unjustified once you read the article. So check out Matt's book,
please.
And if you see Matt at any point, please thank him for giving you what I think has been absolute gold. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. So thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much. Good luck, guys. See you at sea.
See you at sea. There you have it. Big thanks to Matt DiSero. And we're going to be talking more with Matt when it comes to microphone and mic cable, mic stand technique, which I'm really looking forward to filming with him, because I think that it's super important. I think that this is something that has been lost. It's a lost art form. You can watch a whole bunch of people on stage and you can see them working with the mic stands, the mic cables, it's not easy. It's something you definitely have to get used to, and you definitely have to choreograph. Okay, so we will be doing that with Matt in the future. But if you see Matt, please thank him for giving us this golden information, and also buy a copy of his book, because the money actually goes to a kids magic school in Bolivia, and I think that we can do a lot of good. All right, okay, ciao for now. See you on the inside.
Magic on the go, and you can be anywhere, anywhere, with magic on the go, with Steve Valentine, with magic on the go, with over 1,000 incredible videos, with magic on the go, magic for friends, magic for business, magic for all, magic on the go.